What's up, you guys? Today's animated series review is on a family that turned into a group of heroes fighting to protect their planet from evil corruption, and I'm talking about Skeleton Warriors. Skeleton Warriors, the animated series, aired in 1995. As some sources claim it ran from 1994 to 1995, yet still making it unclear, but it consists of only one season with 13 episodes. The story focuses on a planet called Luminaire, which held a powerful LIGHTSTAR crystal in the royal city of Luminicity, but suddenly falls into the wrong hands, which causes a war between light and dark. After the mysterious disappearance of their father, who was the king of Luminicity, Justin Steele, also known as Prince LIGHTSTAR, is the protector of the LIGHTSTAR crystal. However, when the evil and treacherous Baron Dark tries to take control of the crystal, he ends up failing when LIGHTSTAR battles him. Unfortunately, this altercation led to having the crystal split in half, giving both sides one end of it. With Baron Dark in control of one half, this causes Appearance to transform into a skeleton, possessing a unique power where he is able to turn anyone with a corrupted heart into a skeleton warrior. As a plot twist, those who have a good heart are not able to do so. If Baron Dark takes possession of both crystals, like any villain, he will have the ability to conquer the whole planet and turn everyone into a skeleton warrior, regardless with a good or bad heart. Every episode begins with a CG skeleton head giving the viewer a synopsis of what the moral of the story is about and concludes with the same idea. However, just by looking at him and seeing how it was a show made for kids, even at my age, I thought it was pretty creepy and somewhat scary if you look at it from a kid's point of view, but eventually you get used to it and possibly end up liking his narration. Now with Luminicity split into two factions, it is up to LIGHTSTAR to retrieve the crystal, as he has the power of energy with the aid of the Legion of Light, consisting of his brother Joseph Steele, in which during the battle has been half transformed into a skeleton and goes by the new name GRIMSKULL, who can use the shadows as his advantage. His sister Jennifer Steele, also known as TALYN, the princess who has the ability to fly, and their uncle URSAK the Guardian, who is the brother of the king, who also looks like someone that came straight out of He-Man, and with this are also the rest of the townspeople. As for the villains, aside from Baron Dark, you have Dr. Cyborn, who's a scientist, Shriek, who's just a beautiful woman, Oracula, a sixth-armed arachnid who's like a bodyguard, and Dagger, who's a dwarf but a loyal servant. However, as the series progresses, Baron Dark's team does increase in size as he gets his own skeleton dog, horse, and a beast-type monster named Claw. Within 13 episodes, the show tries really hard to get the audience invested, and despite having an interesting start, halfway through the pace becomes a little slow and slightly repetitive, with maybe a few episodes becoming fillers. But then suddenly, in the last 4 or 5 episodes, the story starts to pick up, and that's when it builds suspense. Surprisingly enough, there's a few good story arcs involving Grimskull, because since he's half human and half skeleton, he's fortunate enough to connect with Baron Dark, which is somehow an advantage to figure out his thoughts and locations. But because he's able to do this, majority of the time I assumed Grimskull was going to turn fully evil and betray the Legion of Light, but reluctantly enough doesn't. Another good one is when Prince LIGHTSTAR's love interest Zara returns briefly, as they were once engaged. Grimskull tries to figure out why she decided to leave him and move to a different town. She then explains how she really loved Grimskull but was forced to be with LIGHTSTAR. With this, Grimskull admits he loved her too, but due to his appearance and loyalty to his brother, he ends up doing the right thing by not going any further. Last, we have the heartfelt episode of all the characters understanding the fate of their father and the chance that even though he may be missing during a quest, he may still be alive. Meanwhile, Baron Dark doesn't really do much until near the end, when he creates the Gorgon battleship and miraculously gets a hold of both of the LIGHTSTAR crystals. Even though the show is called Skeleton Warriors, you don't really see many of the warriors until the end, as it focuses on the main 5 villains with the exception of a few throughout. The interesting thing is, anyone who is converted into a skeleton can be turned back to a human as long as anyone can destroy the small crystal piece located on the back of their spine. And speaking of the villains, the thing I found cool but tedious for the Legion of Light is the fact that no matter how many times they get shot, blown to bits, or crumble, their skeleton remains always relocate back to their body, making them whole again, so they technically never really die, living with immortality. In all honesty, before I even saw the show, I thought the good guys were going to be called the Skeleton Warriors, but little did I know it was the villains instead. Throughout the series, you watch the characters develop into skilled warriors using their powers to defeat Baron Dark. By the time you get to the end and watch the final battle between Prince LIGHTSTAR and the newly powerful King Baron Dark, the skeleton narrator indicates the journey is far from over and the search for their father has just begun. So with this happy victory and a ray of hope, the show was unfortunately cancelled. Skeleton Warriors, the animated series, is an okay show. Due to its poorly received reviews and freaky designed action figures, I personally didn't think it was that bad. It was a refreshing new story consisting of new characters set in a unique world filled with diverse people but failed to attract an audience. The voice acting was pretty solid along with the animation style, and if there had been a second season, I'm not too sure how they'd continue with Bear and Dark, but the search for their father would have been pretty cool. Therefore, Skeleton Warriors, the animated series, gets a C+/B-. Thanks for watching, give a like and subscribe for more animated series reviews, and stay tuned for the next episode.